My story about this is a mix of discipline as well. We were in the car, picked him up from school, always ask what he wants to do. He was eating his snacks and stuff, and we started talking as we're driving towards a beach area. He has the idea that he wants to feed the birds, and I was like, okay, cool. We can feed the birds with some of his lunch that he wasn't going to eat, some bread and whatever it was. He likes to toss stuff, and then he likes to chase them. Anyway, but yet he knows that, I don't know if it's technically a rule with his parents, but when I am driving his parents' car, he's not allowed to throw food on the floor or anywhere, but food needs to go into his mouth and into his stomach, or it needs to stay in his tray. So if he doesn't want it, it stays in his tray. If he's hungry, it goes in his mouth. He has to chew it up very, very well so it doesn't go down the air place. It has to go down his stomach tube. I teach kids about the trachea and the esophagus on purpose because I don't like choking, and I want them to understand it. It's not a joke to me. So they're not allowed to be laughing and joking around when they have food in their mouth. They have to chew and then show me, and then they can run around, and then when they take another bite, I'm like, oh, stop, chew, and then they chew, and they swallow, and they show me, and then we move on. That's another thing. Anyway, he gets sidetracked because we're not there yet. He gets sidetracked, and he feels a little feisty because we're joking around, and he decides that he wants to just pour out his snack. And I was like, hey, that's absolutely not necessary. You know that, where's the food now? It's on the floor. Are you kidding? It's supposed to be inside your mouth. So that's my discipline there. It's supposed to be inside your mouth. He knows, but he's also smiling and he's also laughing because he's like, yeah. And I go, it's not appropriate. You know that you're not supposed to. So that rod of a tone, and I'm having to look through the rearview mirror because I'm driving, right? But he can see me and he's seeing my eyes, and he knows. So he stops. So right there, Grace is already there. So he's already won for that one. I've already let it go. He decides, though, later he gets sidetracked again, and because it's a habit, it's just a habit, and I'm here to help break these types of habits, he ends up tossing something else. And so then, and this is as we're parking, he's getting excited because he wants to go, and we're getting ready to feed the birds, and he wants to go, but because he had something in his hand and he just didn't want it, he tossed it down. Now in my head, I'm like, oh no, now I have to throw the rod down, because now I have to take something away, because we've already given grace, I've already warned him, he knows already, and I know that he's sidetracked. I have empathy with the fact that he's sidetracked. Yet, I have to stay with this. So, what ended up happening is I had to then reveal to him that we are not going to now feed the birds. So, of course, that came with, what? No. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. I was like, you know you're not supposed to pour food in the car, and you did it once, and then you did it again. And he goes, okay, I won't do it. So I know for a fact that this is where I want you to put on your Superman costume, or your superhero costume, Supergirl costume, whatever. You have to stick to your guns. I have to stick to what I said. He already got one graceful, like, get out of jail free. When he did it again, even though I know for a fact he was sidetracked, I really do. I honestly do. And this is where you as a parent, because you love your child, you give them that. You're like, oh, just give them another chance. Okay, that other chance makes you a chump, it makes you a liar, and it makes you not trustworthy. I'm just going to be honest with you. So those are the three things that go away when we lovingly go, oh, okay, it's okay, next time. And that's what he's trying to do to me. He's trying to sell me on, okay, I'll do it next time. And I'm like, I bet you will. That's a good idea. And when you do decide that you don't want to spill your food next time, you'll be able to feed the birds. And he's like, wait. And I go, so now I have to go back through and tell him the truth again. And for today, we're just going to go ahead and play instead. So you notice that I'm not condemning, I'm not shaming, I'm not blaming, I'm convicting. He's convicted of the crime, so it takes away the thing that he wants to do the most, yet he still likes to play, he still likes to run. I go, so we're just going to chase the birds instead of feed them. And I use that tone of voice exactly. And he's like, no, but I want to feed them. And I go, I know. I bet. So did I. I was actually here with you. Again, this is empathy. I'm walking him through it. I'm like, I wanted to too. I don't get to feed the birds either now because the food is on the floor instead of in the bird's mouth. So now you have to just get creative and be real, though. Be real with the situation. Point out exactly what is going on and lay it into him. That is his issue. He did this for both of us. He ruined it for both of us. Right? And so that happened a couple times, and then he went to cry again, and I go, okay, stop crying. That's not apathy. Okay, there's a difference, and I was going to talk about that, and I will. Apathy is a totally different thing. That is where, to the point where I'm throwing the rod. I'm done. Okay? Absolutely not. And so I just flat out told him, stop crying. Because I know now he's just crying because he's feeling bad for himself. You did this to yourself. I am not playing that game, okay? You will shut it down. It sounds mean, but parents, this is where, like I said, you have to have a superhero costume on to be able to simulate these types of things, but it's so imperative for your children not only to get a bond with you, he has to know that I mean what I say. I'm not joking. Sometimes I'll even say that. I'm like, and he's like, I promise I won't do it. And I'm like, good, next time we will be able to go. And he's like, no, but I want to do it now. So we kept going in a circle. It took about 10 minutes, honestly. He kept having to, this is his practice for resilience. Because he needs to understand that this is the consequence of the action that he did. Even though he didn't mean to do it, now he's even getting to a point where I can't help him when he's crying, and he knows that too. That's another thing I'm going to go into, is the cry to get mentality. So let me not get too far off, but this is so important. That's why I'm so grateful that we're having this time together, because we're just touching on this stuff too. What ended up happening is, after, when I told him to stop crying, he looked at me like, because he's not used to that. His parents don't do that, right? And so this is something that I have to now teach the parents. Once I do this a few times with him, that this is how it'll be. If your child was with me personally, I will do these things. I will simulate these things until I feel that, like, I'm comfortable that no matter what gets thrown at them, that they're going to be able to do it. And then, in between, I tell the parents what I'm doing, and you can practice. You can practice these things, but it's like going to the chiropractor. It kind of works, but then you have to go get adjusted again, and it works, and then you have to get adjusted again. So it's like that. And so the idea is that eventually it'll just stay in place. But it takes consistency from both of us. We've got to work together. That's why this is teamwork, parents. The parent, the child, and the tools are all going to end up melding together, and you put your little spices on it. Like, a Mexican sauce doesn't taste the same as an Italian sauce, yet they can still make people very, very happy, and we love food. It tastes good. Anyway, so I do want to make sure I always reiterate that it's your style. I'm giving you stuff that is so malleable that, yes, you can use what I do exactly if you want to, yet what's cool is your personality is what's going to be the best. It's just like when you write a paper, they'll tell you to say it in your own words, right? So take these things, but that's why I think it's fun that I even don't necessarily have a script for stuff, because I never know what I'm going to get. But what I do tend to get are very similar things, and that's what I'm bullet pointing down.